What's going on, y'all? Back with another episode of Smell What Coop is Cooking. Today, we're gonna make some chicken parmesan. This is one of my favorite recipes. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I make it. Let's get started, let's go. First thing we're gonna do is start making our sauce. I'm gonna be using a can of San Marzano tomatoes. I use these tomatoes in particular because they're low in acidity, and when you cook them down, they become very sweet, sweeter than most tomatoes. So I go with this one for this particular recipe. I am also going to be using some extra virgin olive oil. I got about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic here, half an onion. I have a carrot. This is one of my secret weapons for this sauce. This is gonna add some sweetness to the sauce too, to cut some of the acidity from the tomatoes. I grated some Parmesan cheese that I'm going to be using for this recipe. I kept the rind, and we're gonna be chucking that into the sauce. I'm using some tomato paste that's gonna go in as well. I'm probably gonna use a few tablespoons of that. And I got some fresh herbs here that I'm gonna be using to finish the sauce. I'm not gonna put this until the end. I got some basil, I got some thyme, I got some rosemary, and I got some flat leaf parsley. Next, I'm gonna chop my onions. Just give it a rough chop. Doesn't need to be anything too fancy. A lot of this is gonna cook down into our sauce. I just wanna break it up so it cooks evenly. Next, I'm gonna peel that carrot I had earlier. Getting that excess skin off will really allow some of those flavors from that carrot to really seep into the sauce. I'm gonna go in with some extra virgin olive oil, a couple of tablespoons into a pan, get that hot. Into that hot extra virgin olive oil, I'm gonna throw in my onions and start to saute those. Once I've sauteed my onions for a few minutes, I'm going to toss in my 2 tablespoons of garlic. And I'm gonna cook that until my garlic starts to brown. I'm gonna add some salt. Salt's gonna help draw out some of that moisture in the onions. A little bit of freshly cracked pepper, black pepper. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in my pan, saute all that up. All right, now I'm gonna add in my tomato paste, and I'm going to cook that into my onions and my garlic. Once I've cooked that in, I can start to smell that paste becoming real fragrant, mixing in with the onion and that garlic. I'm going to go in with my San Marzano tomatoes, dump that into my pot. I'm gonna stir this up. I'm not gonna break my tomatoes down too much. They're gonna break down in the course of me cooking this. I'm gonna add some freshly cracked black pepper again. I like pepper in my sauce, y'all. To this, I'm going to add my carrots. The carrots that I peeled earlier, I just sliced that up. That's gonna go directly into my sauce, and my Parmesan cheese rind. Once I've added in my carrots and my Parmesan cheese rind, I will go ahead and stir that up. Then I'm gonna pop a lid on. I'm gonna cook this on low for about 4 hours. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna stir this about every 15 or 20 minutes. And after 4 hours, this is my finished product. My tomatoes have cooked all the way down. My carrots have infused into the sauce. Now I'm gonna chop up all my fresh herbs. I'm just gonna give all this a rough chop. Nothing too fancy, nothing too special. I got the basil, I got the parsley, I got the rosemary, I got the thyme. All this is getting a rough chop. Watch those fingers, Coop. And into my bowl they go. I'm gonna give that a little mix up. I'm gonna take this herb mixture. This is gonna go into my sauce. Sprinkle that into your taste, the amount that you would like in it. I'm gonna start out with just a good little handful here. I like to add mine at the very end. That way I'm not cooking out all the flavor and all those herbs. Stir that into my sauce. Taste it for seasoning. See those carrots floating around there, you guys? Yeah. The really big chunks like that, I don't want that in my sauce. If you want to keep that in there, go ahead, you can. I'm gonna take the really big ones out of mine. That's our finished sauce. We're gonna set that to the side. After the sauce, next we're gonna start prepping our chicken. First up, we are going to start a 4-station dredging station here. I'm gonna crack a couple eggs into this mixing bowl right here. Into this other empty bowl you see here, I'm gonna add some dry oregano, dry basil, some Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, and some paprika. This is gonna be my seasoning for the chicken. I'm not a big fan, you guys, of putting my seasoning for chicken parmesan into my flour. I feel like it just all burns off, or you don't really get enough of it on there to really taste it. So we're actually going to start it with that first. I'm gonna beat that egg. Next, I'm gonna start prepping my chicken by taking a paper towel. I'm gonna pat my chicken breast dry on both sides. Then I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna cut off all the fat and all the connective tissue, all that sinew. I don't want any of that in my chicken parmesan, you guys. I know y'all don't want that either. So make sure when y'all make this, cut yours off too. Y'all don't need any of that. Once I've got my chicken properly cleaned up, I am going to put this chicken into a Ziploc bag. This Ziploc bag is going to prevent chicken from splashing everywhere in my kitchen, having me cleaning chicken off the walls and cleaning chicken off the stove and having cleaning chicken off the floor and cleaning chicken off the cabinets. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to put it into this bag. I'm going to close it all the way because I want the air to be able to get out, and I'm just going to pound it out with my meat mallet. Pound out this chicken cutlet so that it is even all the way throughout. You don't want it too thin because you still want to be able to bite into a juicy piece of chicken, but I don't want that thick piece of chicken to not cook properly, so I had to smash it down, pound it out so it can cook uniformly. Now that I have my chicken cutlet finished here, I'm gonna put it into my 4-station dredge, starting out with my seasoning. I'm going to dip that into the bowl of seasoning. I'm gonna get it coated all the way around, all the nooks and crannies. You guys know what I'm talking about. From there, I'm gonna slap that bad boy directly into the flour. Flour is the next portion of my dredging mixture. Dredge that in my flour. It's gonna lock in all of that seasoning that I just put in instead of it just being wasted in that entire thing of flour that I'm not gonna use again. Next, oh, you thought I was gonna put it in the panko. No, it's going directly into the egg wash. Egg wash, make sure that gets coated all the way around so that your panko has something nice it can stick on. Drip that off. I'm gonna go in for a little bit more. Sauce a little bit on this side. I need a little bit more. Y'all couldn't see it, but I can see it. And I can see that I need a little bit more, so I'm gonna put it in there. Drip that off, make sure it drains, and I'm gonna put that over into my panko. Coat it evenly on all sides. Going with a little bit of this mixture, I'm gonna put the rest on top. Pat it down, make sure that gets onto my cutlet. That is gonna be the breading for my chicken parmesan. Into my cast iron pan, I'm gonna fill that up halfway with vegetable oil. Once my oil becomes hot, I'm going to drop in my breaded chicken cutlet. I'm gonna cook it on about medium-high heat for probably about 6 minutes, or until you start to see that breading underneath start to get golden brown about halfway throughout your chicken. Once you've seen that, I'm gonna flip it over. Whoo! You see that, y'all? In the kitchen cooking, we cooking with grease. After I flip this chicken cutlet, I'm gonna fry it on the other side for another additional 6 minutes, or until it's cooked all the way through, and you have a golden brown crust all the way throughout. All right, once my chicken cutlet is done, I'm gonna add that to a wire rack, foiled at the bottom so that it can drain. And I'm gonna set that aside, and I'm gonna let that rest. Now, what would chicken Parmesan be without cheese, y'all? So I got some mozzarella cheese here. I'm gonna cut some thin slices of this. This is going to go onto my chicken cutlet when I put this inside of my broiler. Now that I have all my components ready, I'm gonna start building my chicken Parmesan. First, on my wire rack, I'm going to leave my chicken Parmesan there. Take this fresh tomato sauce that I made with those beautiful San Marzano tomatoes, you guys. The onions, the garlic, all the fresh herbs. Oh, it looks delicious. Come on, put a little bit more of that on top. Yeah, y'all know me. Look at that. Crispy edges of the chicken. Can't beat that. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of this freshly grated Parmesan cheese on top. A little bit more. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Now I'm gonna go ahead and lay on my slices of mozzarella. Another little piece on the side right there. Now I'm gonna take this into my preheated broiler. I'm gonna cook that for probably about a minute and a half. Keep checking it though. I don't want you to burn it, so make sure you check it. Once you have achieved this brownness on top, or the brownness that you're desired, to be quite honest, this is what I want mine to look like. I'm taking mine out. While I was frying my chicken cutlet, I got a pot of water boiling here. Got my spaghetti. Show you guys a little trick here. Take it and twist. Drop it right in your water like that. Woo! I'm gonna stir my pasta occasionally. Cook it till al dente. Strain it. Prepare to put on my plate. I'm gonna take a nice forkful here. I'm gonna add that to the center of my plate. To my spaghetti, I'm gonna add some of my fresh spaghetti sauce here. Some of this tomato sauce. That looks bomb. You can see little chunks of carrot all throughout it. And the piece de resistance, the chicken parm, laid ever so perfectly on top. To that, I'm gonna add a little bit of that fresh herb dean we made earlier. After my herb dean, I'm gonna add a little bit of this freshly grated Parmesan cheese all over the top. And there it is, you guys. My take on chicken Parmesan. I'm gonna go in for a bite here. The outer layer is nice and crispy, nice and crunchy. And the inside, chicken is moist, chicken is juicy. It's not too thin. It's still thick enough where you can get a nice bite. Let's go and let's have one here. Take a look at that. Ooh. Locked in all of that flavor from that seasoning. Super fire, y'all. Look. Y'all seen that gigantic piece just disappeared? It's because I ate the whole thing. All right, you guys, there you have it. My take on chicken parm. Let me know how you guys like it. I put this up with anything you get at Olive Garden, you get over there at Johnny Carino, any one of those Italian restaurants. So check this recipe out. Let me know how you guys like it. Let me know in the comments how you like it. And we'll be back next week with another episode of Smell What Coop is Cooking.